Hello, everyone. So, my name is Elena Obukhova. I do apologize for my voice today. Got a little bit sick with all the traveling. So, I do hope for next 20 minutes you will be able to hear me. If not, do pardon me. So, as I said, I'm Elena Obukhova. I'm co-founder of Supermoon. I spent many years in venture capital, strategic consulting, been working with startups and SMEs, helping them with go-to-market strategies, scaling and expanding to various markets. I did have an opportunity to work for United Nations, working on the strategies to increase financial inclusion in Southeast Asia. And today, I'm here to talk about a very important topic for our industry, because I do think that we keep talking about disruption, but do we really disrupt? We've been living in the crypto bubble for such a long time, and I will never be tired of repeating that we live in a bubble. And today I want all of us to step a little bit outside of this crypto world, look at traditional tech, look at the history examples, and learn what the disruption actually means. And to start with that, I want to cover, what does it mean to be a disruptor? And I like to start with a dictionary, from time to time to look what words actually mean. And for a disruption, you can see a lot of very strong words, like disturbance, radical change, very strong words, aren't they? And they are so strong because disruption always faces opposition. It faces backlash and even an angry crowd. And the reason for that is because disruptors are challenging establishment. They're challenging the common ideas, and they're challenging the legal framework that in many cases is not designed for innovations at all. So disruptors face a lot of backlash. And I touched a little bit on innovation. In our industry, we started hearing disruption on a daily basis. I received so many startup applications when startups are saying, we're disrupting the music industry, we're disrupting financial industry, we're disrupting payments, we're disrupting so many different things. But are we really disrupting? We started using the word disruption as a synonym to innovation. But there is one major difference between these words. They are not the same. Innovation is a term that means creation of new ideas, creation of new products, new services upon existing ones. Innovation can be simple, it can be small, it can also be low impact that majority of people will not even notice. Innovation can also be radical. And I want to stay on the word radical because that's the term I'll start using to describe disruption. Because disruption is not just innovation, it's a radical change, it's a challenge, it's controversy, and it's a leadership. Because you have to be a leader in order to disrupt. Because without a strong leadership, your ideas not going to be followed, they're not going to be heard, no one will know about them. That's why you need a strong leadership. And let's take a step back. I wanted to list a few names, some of them pretty random. I wanted to kind of use it as an example. There are two things that unite all these people here, is that they all are disruptors and they also are leaders. And some of them, some of them you can see a face for, and some of them don't have a face, like Satoshi Nakamoto. But they are leaders, they are disruptors, even if you don't know how they look like. Disruptors do a lot of change. And they challenge all these people here not only challenged the existing system, they also faced a major backlash. But all these people also succeeded to change the system forever. And for example, Charles Darwin, he was challenging the literal creation story from the Bible. Well, didn't really was taken well by the church, right? Because how can it be? He was challenging their whole belief system. He was challenging their vision, their establishment, and of course their power. So he did face a lot of backlash, not only from them, but also from a science community that took a pretty tough toll on him and his family. And okay, it's back. Steve Jobs, as many of you know, was backlashed for his very tough and very unique leadership style. He was not a nice person. And we never said that Disruptor is necessarily a nice person or a nice word. No, it actually takes a lot of grit, a lot of stubbornness, a lot of very unique personality to persuade everyone else to follow you and your ideas. It also takes a lot of grit to continue moving when you hear endless no, when people might even laugh at your face or be angry with you, because there's always two sides to a story. We also see Martin Luther King here, who was in jail so many times, among other things. Don't even want to go there. Both him and Karl Marx were under severe government surveillance because they had enough influence, because their ideas were very radical for their time. You might not like Karl Marx, but it doesn't make him less of a disruptor, because that's exactly the point. Because Disruptor will be portrayed as a hero to some, a villain to others, but he will never be in the middle. And one thing that makes a very big difference for a disruption to actually happen is a community. Because without people by your side, you don't have enough strengths. Community are the people who are going to make a difference. Disruptor is a person who has a vision, or a group of people who have a vision. They have an idea, but in order for change to happen, you need other people to follow you. You need to change their life. You need to create enough value. You need to solve a real-world problem. Here's a keyword for our entire crypto community, is a real-world problem. That's when people will follow you. They will fight for you. And that's your strongest weapon. And I really like to bring example from traditional tech. So I think this is a pretty by-the-book example of Uber, who faced so many legal battles, media backlash in countless number of countries. And everyone knows this word. I'm sure a majority of you guys used that specific app to come here today. And Uber wasn't bending, it was bending everyone else around them. They were fighting. Despite all of the legal battles, lobbying, they were continue moving. And they changed their transportation industry forever. I also bring some examples of Travis Kalanick, who is actually co-founder and CEO of Uber, who was facing a major backlash. Because there's always a brand face to a movement. And of course, the public sector didn't like it. You can look at a few of the headlines here about Uber killing a public transport. And you know what we need to ask is, who has he challenged? And the slides disappear. Okay, perfect. We're back. So we need to ask who Travis actually has challenged. Because he challenged transportation industry, he challenged Medallion system, government, and all their stakeholders. I was shocked to learn this, that in 1937, when New York government introduced the Medallion system, because they tried to limit the supply of taxi cabs, that led to these medallions being sold later in 2014 for $1 million. Well, Uber changed that. Uber changed it for everyone. And what do you think was his goal? Was it to change the system? No, I don't think he ever had this idea. His idea was to create a better transportation app for people, to make it more convenient to move from one place to another place. It wasn't to fight with the government or with institutions. They were just in their way. And you know what helps them win is the support from drivers and riders, because people understood the value. And that's, again, bringing us back to a community. It's a powerful tool that helps you to win, to helps you to achieve your goal and final destination, no matter what. And we had that movement a while ago appearing with their ideas to disrupt financial industry, disrupt the banking industry, because it doesn't work for people, for individuals. I feel we're less and less about that mission, unfortunately. We had a movement, we had Satoshi Nakamoto there. And of course, government was finding it challenging to put their face to a problem. There was a lot of media backlash. And they started going after individuals in the crypto space. Well, everyone knows recent example with CZ, just bringing one of our various examples. I just really like the difference between the headlines of our traditional media when CZ is pleading guilty for money laundering and what he was actually pleading guilty to, failing to comply with AML regulations and have our AML program in place, violating Bank Secrecy Act. So media will always portray everyone and every disruptor in a bad light. They'll try to find their way. But for us, it became more about the settlement, less about disrupting. I see all these things here not really reaching a final destinations. ETF for me is a settlement. It's not disrupting anything. It's not bringing Bitcoin or crypto adoption to individuals, not giving them power to transact. NFTs were supposed to disrupt, right? Music industry, art industry. Well, the reason why I know it didn't really disrupt because it never touched the money of entertainment companies. It actually brings them additional revenue. How I know that is because we never heard that much of a backlash from traditional entertainment companies. Web3, also decentralization, still using Web2 technologies to connect to Web3, talking about data privacy, but it's very, very, very niche. We're not looking outside of our world. We're not looking at the real world problems. We're not trying to create something new. We're saying that, okay, this is a Web3 social media. That's not a disruption. Social media already exists. If you're talking about data privacy, well, majority of people don't care about it. We need to look better for real problems that exist there on a daily basis. People still struggling to get access to identification. They cannot travel. People still cannot transact in many places. And we are creating Dows with 3 people, incorporated partnership in the, let's say, state of Colorado. Very decentralized, very autonomous, very disruptive. So how can we disrupt again? I think the most important for us, and I keep repeating these words, and I'm really glad to hear that more and more of our community members actually referring to these 3 words or their real world problem, because that's what we need to look at. We're labeling users as Web3 users, Web2 users, but there's no such a thing. They're just users, they're just people. And until we understand that there is no labels, there is no difference between, we will always stay in the crypto bubble. We have a strong vision. We need to go back to it. We started with a belief in decentralization. We believed in the self-ownership, self-custody. We need to get back to that vision. We built a strong community, and we need to continue being persistent when it comes to these beliefs. And what I wanted to say is, don't be afraid to be hated. Because if someone hates you, embrace it. Because that means that you are actually disrupting. Without hate, you probably are not changing anyone's life. So hate is not really bad. It's a part of a disruptor journey. And I really hope that our community can get back to disruption and our initial vision that we believed in. And let's start changing what we wanted to change. Here's my Twitter if you guys want to connect and chat about this. Thank you, everyone.